do it. But as you can see, it's in need of a little bit of wax. My edge is a little nicked up. So first thing I want to do, you guys can do it however you like. Some people like to do their edges after. But me, personally, I like to work out my edges before I start waxing, just so I don't have to deal with them after. All right, so when I get my edges, I'll do this this way. When I get my edges, see this part of the board here, right to here? This part of the board to here, I don't ever sharpen. I start sharpening from here in, all the way to here in. So I only sharpen that inside edge. I never sharpen the edge. As a matter of fact, on the outside, I usually use this sharpening stone, but I use it in a way that actually dulls the ends. This is called detuning the ends. So I always like to detune my ends. That makes your board a little bit more forgiving, so that if you do hit some nasty terrain, you're less likely to catch a front edge and just kind of knock off. So then you're gonna you want to get it in your thing nice and firm, find that spot, and then just flat right there, and you just go back and forth a few times. You don't have to do it too much. You just want to go back a few times and you'll feel it just smoothing out right there. So whatever like little nooks and crannies are on there, they're gone. All right, so let's get this other side. And we'll do the same thing. Oh, look at how bad this one is. Dried out. So same thing, we're just gonna detune the front here. I've probably already done this. I don't need to do this. I'm just kind of doing it to show you guys. But just detune the front, just so you're not afraid. But you're just doing that. You're literally rounding off the edge, which is the opposite of what you're doing in the middle. So you round that off, and then boom, get your edge here. Let's see what it feels like. Ooh, see like this nasty spot? This one's going to take a little bit more. I must have hit a rock in the woods the other day. So this one, oh, you hear that? Coming by. It's going to take a little bit more to... So I might have to go a couple more times on that one. And I've got a little bit of action going on the bottom too, so I'm going to actually use my stone. I want to hold my stone flat up against the base and just kind of smooth that section right out. Because I don't want nicking. All right, now I'm going to sharpen it back up and get an edge on there. So this edge required a little bit more time than I typically would spend. And it's got a couple of nicks that may not come in over time, but I don't want to dig up more of the edge I've taken out, so that it's smooth and sharp. All right, now, oh, I gotta turn on my heater. Now you turn on your power supply for your workbench so your thing can warm up. You find the right wax I'm gonna use today. I love the graphite. So it doesn't matter what brand you get. I get Demon here, One Ball here. The biggest thing you want to look for is that it's got the graphite. You want it to have graphite in it. I found that the wax that has graphite in it just performs a lot better, and it's a little bit quicker, a little bit more smooth. So I don't know which one I want to go with today. They're both fine, so I guess we'll just go with the Demon. We'll go with the Demon today. There's a little bit more left on this block. And then, seriously, all you need to do is just get this out of your way. And we're just going to go for a nice drip line. And we're going to do a little mini S-turn on this. And that's it. So, folks, that is like as much wax as I'm going to want to put on this. On your split board, you want to have, you're going to scrape the heck out of your wax, so you don't want to have a lot of excess wax. You want to put it on pretty thin. So that should be enough. I'll keep it out just in case I need to add some more to spots, but literally that's as much wax as I want to use. The more wax you put on, the more wax you got to take off. So put it on thin, spread it out, and it usually serves you well. And that's that. So that's half is done. And it did spread out pretty good. I got it everywhere. Making sure I'm pulling towards the edges here to get it away from the middle. Because the middle always seems to hold enough wax. It's the edges that always need to have a little bit more. Yeah, that's good. You don't want to do that. See if I just left that even just for a second and it left the mark. So typically you always want to have your hand on your iron and you always want it to be moving. Whether you do circles or straight back and forth. I use a combination of techniques because I just want to make sure that I'm spreading the wax. This has got a puck underneath it, so it's for some reason not heating up as good. So I got to spend a little bit more time in there. But I don't want to spend too much time in there because, I don't know, some people say if you don't unscrew your pucks, that's why that does that. So technically, if you want to be a professional waxer, you would take off all of your fasteners on the other side and wax it and then reattach everything. I have never done that, and the only disadvantage it seems like is you end up with a couple of spots on the bottom sometimes that don't take a little bit longer to scrape and get right, but it doesn't seem to affect the performance. So it's just a lot of work resetting up the bindings, so I just don't do it. But a lot of people say that you do it and you got to do it, so you can do what you want. I do what I want, so that's good. So that side is done. I'm just gonna put this off to the side and come back in like an hour or so and scrape it and buff it. So we're just gonna put it over here for now and get out side number 2. All right, side number 2 is looking good. My wax, where's the wax go? Oh, dropped it on the ground. Found my wax. All right, wax is gonna just start dripping. And again, you don't have to do too much. I do like a little quick S-turn and that's it. If anything, I might even put too much wax on there. But that's all you need, just a little bit of wax. And then you just spend a little bit of time spreading it out. It'll force you to put enough heat on the base to get it to set in as well. If you use a ton of wax, sometimes you don't even need to spend too much time spreading it so it doesn't get set into the base as much. Because essentially, you don't want to put the wax on the base, but you want to get the wax to get into the base, and then essentially you scrape off all the excess is kind of how you want to think about your wax applying. So you're not putting the wax on the base, even though you are. The whole point of putting it on is to get it to sink in. So that's where this heated iron helps the wax to set in, and then you scrape off all the excess, and that's where you get your thing. And then on the split boards, you're going to want to make sure you scrape off your excess even more, because too much excess wax on a regular board is no big deal, because the first couple times you go down, you'll scrape it off. But on a split board, the first thing you typically do is put your skins on it and go up the mountain, and then the excess wax, instead of getting scraped off by the snow, gets stuck on your skins and kind of messes everything up, and you don't want that. You definitely don't want that. This is another one of those spots that I'm supposed to take on, but that's how I deal with them, right? What I just did. Just sometimes you gotta apply a little extra heat, make sure it's good and applied, and then you get away from it. And spend some more time in between and pulling towards the edge to get good edge coverage on my outside edge. The inside edge, I don't really worry about that too much because I don't ski with these, so I don't really need the inside edge to be that accurate because it's just in the middle of the board. That's that. All right, so I've pretty much got my wax on both. Again, this is a little technique I like to do where I just get my final little bit at the end after I get spread everywhere. I just kind of grab the wax and I pull it towards the edge. I think it gives me better edge coverage. But the biggest thing is it also pulls off some of the wax, the excess wax, and it drips it over the edge. At which point, just means less wax that I gotta scrape off later. So I do like to, I guess, call it pull the wax off. I do like to pull the wax off of the board. And that's that, folks. So that one is now been applied. So I'm gonna turn off my iron. And I'm just going to let this stuff sit. I'll probably get done waxing these when I get back from playing soccer. So I'll just let this one rest right here. And just so this doesn't fall over, I'll just let that rest in there like that. And then I'm good. When I come back, I'll get the excess wax off of these edges. And then I will scrape and buff them. And they will look like a brand new set of split. When I get back, I will scrape it. So let's work on this one first. I actually don't mind the split board as much as a regular board because I don't know why, but scraping a half a board at a time just seems a lot easier than scraping a whole board. So we're just going to start with the metal scraper and just scrape. On my split board, I'll go through the metal scraper for a bit and then I'll break out. I got a good sharp plastic scraper that actually works really good too, so we'll get that one going in a bit. But the metal one, as you can see, it's not hitting everywhere, which is weird, but it is scraping a lot. I like to flip them over, and then you can also turn them around. Alright. So metal scraper is done. Next, get my 1-ball scraper, my handy little scraper sharpener, and we're gonna clean this off nice and tight with this one. For whatever reason, this one always has a nice and tight bottom. Probably because I sharpen it right before I go. Ooh, what's going on with this? That was weird. I don't know why that went off. But must be going dead. So I must need to leave that in the window again. That stinks. All right. So we got no light, but I guess we'll jump right into. Oh, this not gonna work. Jump right into this. Should do it. We'll hit it with a rag to get all the stuff off. Clean that off itself. Alright, rag, wipe, rag, wipe. Oh, that feels smooth. Nice. And we're gonna brush and buff. Alright, so then after I do that, I like to add a little bit of structure back into the base with just a manual nylon brush, just simple. And then the final buff with a buffing pad. And we'll put this light on for a second so we can see the finished product. It's probably going to go off in a second, but as you can see, nice and shiny.